And what is up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to the broadcast. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I am your favorite host with the locks that rocks the cyborg to die for, Adam Richmond. How is everybody doing? This is the official podcast of Rocklahoma, and we are coming at you live. It has been a while since we've spoke. It's been a couple of weeks, in fact. Because, I took a little excursion. We were invited back down to the southeastern coast of Daytona, Florida. We made our way back to Daytona Beach to check out how DWP, Danny Wimmer Presents, does music festivals. We visited Welcome to Rockville this past week. Thank you in large part by a proud Rocklahoma sponsor, Prior Liquors, Wines, and Spirits, as well as our proud partner and sponsor, Photography by Angel Lee. Without these two sponsors, the trip never would have happened, and we owe all the opportunities and the fruits of the labor that we put in that weekend to those wonderful sponsors who allowed us to get there. Now, because of contacts that we made at that festival, we got some amazing things on the horizon that I can't quite talk about just yet, but I'm just like bursting at the seams. I want to go scream it on the mountain and tell everybody what we've got going on and what we've got coming for music festivals in the future. But all good things come to those who wait. So we're going to have to wait, and I'll let you guys know when something is cemented. Until then, I do have some announcements that we're going to give you all tonight. Hint, give. We have some things concerning not only Rocklahoma, but its sister festival as well. We're going to get into that a little bit later. And we've got some musical features that we are going to be cracking open tonight, including musical features from ROK the River artists, Shelter in Place. We're also going to break open the SRL archives and we're going to open up the archives and go all the way back to 2022 to Born and Raised, where we spoke with Tim Montana. And we're going to look at that one because he's also going to be playing this year at Rocklahoma. And the reason there's just so much I want to talk to. That interview just came so full circle, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit. We're also going to be digging into the ROK box. We got a submission from some locals in Florida that wanted to contribute to the podcast, Loud, Local, and Live, as we cover music festivals and the local rock music scene everywhere we go. I do see, speaking of DWP, I see Ashley is in the comments. What's up, Ashley? Congratulations and good job for everything you did in Rockville, and I understand Sonic Temple is going as well. So you people are just nuts. You guys do such amazing work, especially with the fan engagement. I love where y'all's hearts are. I see Darren is actually in the comments. What's up, Darren? Loud and clear. Thank you so much, Darren, for your help with the Rocklahoma Campgrounds map. We're going to talk a little bit about that coming up as well. I tell you what, I've told you everything that we're going to cover in this show, so let's go ahead and pay some bills. What do you say? First up, I want to thank DEB Concerts for answering the question, what do you want to do with your life? Yes, and Rocky does, and Rocky will be doing. He's got some gigs coming up, including a little shindig going on Memorial Day weekend on my birthday up in Tulsa. You've got to check them out, debconcerts.com. And you these are the folks that help power the tunes inside the Roadhouse stage on the DEB concert stage. and a proud sponsor of Rocklahoma. Remember, look up DEB Concerts on Facebook and see what Doug's got at brewing. Also, folks, I would like to give a special thanks to At Your Service Rentals. They are your purveyor of the Pooh Shacks for Rocklahoma and Born and Raised Music Festival. The only place I know of that you can get your own portable restroom for your campsite. It's amazing, and you don't have to share facilities with the rest of the campgrounds. There's just nothing like being able to squat in confidence and that cow pasture in our Pryor, Oklahoma. You know how we do it out there. We get crazy out there. Now, they also have another service that helps save folks on Labor Day, and I'm talking about those swimming pools you can get for your campsite as well. Those things are absolutely awesome, and they help beat the heat. So I tell you what, folks, you can go ahead and reserve your facilities right now if you need to. All you got to do is go to aysrentals.com, and don't be like that guy over there cutting in the middle of a big line because, what, dude, what are you doing over there? Yeah, he didn't call At Your Service Rentals. Also want to give a huge shout out to Rockavet. This is a organization that I've been working with for several years since its inception. And we've given over 70 passes to veterans and active service men and women, folks who put it all on the line to help defend our freedoms and keep us all safe. And it's just one thing that I am so proud to do and be afforded opportunities to help and give back through this show. And I owe it all to Rockavet. Now, we also linked up with the Corey Taylor Foundation at Welcome to Rockville and checked out that booth. And it was absolutely awesome and humbling to see one of our Rocklahoma family members represented in that booth. I, of course, am talking about Frank Nito. And just thank you so much to Rockavet, Corey Taylor, the Corey Taylor Foundation, and DWP for putting all of that stuff together and help promote mental health awareness, excuse me. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Rocklahoma bitches. Now, these girls just bring the fun anywhere they go, especially at Rocklahoma. They are a fixture of the campgrounds and proud sponsors of this program. So thank you all so much for everything you do. I can't wait to see what you've got going on this year. Also, once again, I want to give a huge shout out to Photography by Angel Lee. She has been our trusted photographer for several years now, covering not only Rocklahoma, Born and Raised, RAWK the River, ROK the Equinox, Rock Island in Key West, and now she also helped provide for the trip to Daytona for Welcome to Rockville. She's a proud sponsor, and we are so happy to be working along with Photography by Angel Lee. Be sure you check her out on Facebook. She's got some amazing images from our festivals past. Also want to give a shout out to the folks who bring a busload of debauchery to campgrounds near you. I'm talking about, of course, the Big Old Bus. And a huge shout out to Shannon and Daniel and crew and all of those who keep this just insane party going and keep everyone safe while they rock our faces off and facilitate some good old-fashioned debauchery. Moderation in all things, but, we like to get crazy, but we do crazy that we get just crazy enough to not get in trouble. Thank you so much, Big Old Bus. Now, Also, remember, folks, if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, give us a email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. We are happy to take on new sponsors as we are covering more festivals here in the northeastern Oklahoma area. We've got some more types of content that we'd like to break into, and those sponsorship dollars help us be able to manage doing what we do without breaking our own banks. So, speaking of, they have been taking care of us for quite some time. I'm talking about the folks that sell the suds that keep me sauced. Prior Liquors, Wines, and Spirits has been a proud sponsor of Surviving Rocklahoma this year, and we owe our trip to Rockville in large part to Monty and crew at Prior Liquors, Wines, and Spirits, and we were thinking about them while we were down there because, there's so many beverages that we could have partaken of, and we did partake of during this week, but I learned a newfound appreciation for the good old Tito's vodka. So it is Tito's saved our weekend, folks. So if you can get your favorite liquor, wines, and spirits right here in Pryor, Oklahoma at Pryor Wines and Spirits. And in recognition of that, I'm enjoying a little bit of what I call the Daytona special, which is some Tito's and Sprite. So from Pryor's Liquors, Wines, and Spirits, cheers, y'all. All right. Woo, that made the little liver quiver. Alrighty, folks. So let's go ahead and get into the show. I see some of you folks have already noticed this week's threads. I got a new shipment in over the course of the week while we were gone. It actually came in while we were traveling back, and we got our new shipment of our brand new t-shirts. And check this out. We now have them. They are on sale for $25. You can look just like me and rock the Surviving Rocklahoma t-shirt. Now, this shirt was designed by photography by Angel. Much love to Angel for her contributions to the podcast. Now, these shirts are provided by Metalcore Clothing. Huge shout out to Jeremy and Lacey Knight of Metalcore Clothing. This shirt, man, this is one of my new favorites. Not just because it's got my own logo across it, but this thing breathes. There's some nice thin material. I'm really loving these things. Remember, folks, you can get your own and support the podcast by going to the website. I'll have that link up here probably later on tonight or first thing in the morning. Also, remember, we have been doing a promotion where anyone who buys merch or subscribes to the Facebook page, which is now available for the low price of $5 a month, and you can contribute and help support and power this show. Everybody who buys a t-shirt, merch, or subscribes to the page will be entered for a giveaway of 2 general admission Rocklahoma 2024 passes, and these shirts are included in that. So we were going to go ahead and end that promotion on the 15th, but because we got the new t-shirts in, we want everybody to go ahead and have that availability. So anyone who purchases a t-shirt, subscribes to the Facebook page, will be entered to win those tickets. We will also have more passes. I just found out that we were approved for some additional passes to give away this coming season. And we're going to be covering a lot of stuff, folks. So make sure that you follow the podcast so you have your opportunity to win free general admission passes to Rocklahoma 2024. I also see Danny Hayes and Confused. What's up, buddy? So glad to see the Danny Wimmer Presents uh, crew in the comments. So we were talking a bit about Rockville, and this trip was amazing, folks. Now remember, we weren't working this festival. This wasn't something that we got media credentials for. They just said, hey, you know what? Why don't y'all check the property out if you're going to be in town? And we just so happened to need a destination for our road trip 2024. So we were going down there anyway, and we were so blessed to meet up with some folks that work with DWP. I don't want to drop too many names, but yes, we met up with several folks in a variety of capacities, from fan engagement to how they run their services, to provide a safe environment for all the festival goers and facilitate like ADA and ASL and all of those other folks. And I could not have been more impressed, like I said, by the folks, Ashley and Danny and my man Egg in the ADA area, who made sure all of us were taken care of. It's just absolutely amazing group of people, and their heart is definitely in the right place. Now, we got down there, and let me tell you, it was a road trip, and it was all of 18-hour drive. And thank you so much to Angel and Ron for getting us down there. You all are beasts behind the wheel, and I mean that in a good way. Now, we left Brighton early. However, we did have to drive through for about an hour through some gnarly weather. Now, I'm going to take a break in our coverage of Welcome to Rockville to acknowledge what happened that morning we left southwestern Missouri, as we passed through some crazy tornadic weather, including the same storms that spawned the tornadoes in Barnesdale and Bartlesville. And it was a very somber and scary morning as we saw the devastation and the destruction caused by those two tornadoes. And we've got some near and dear friends that were impacted by the wind damage. Fortunately, they got out with their lives, and a little bit of property damage, but things can be broken, but people cannot be replaced. And I just like, if we could just give all of our thoughts and prayers and anything that you can to the families impacted by the Barnesdale and Bartlesville, Oklahoma tornadoes. Also, let's not forget about Sulphur, Oklahoma. Sulphur is a place near and dear to my heart. I've got family members that live down there. That is also a place where my uncle went to deaf school. That was a different storm, but it's a crazy storm season, folks. So make sure that you always stay aware of that weather, and just remember that anything can happen when it comes to severe weather, especially when you live in Tornado Alley. So with that being said, folks, as we got out of the storms and such, we hit Daytona, and we got so many great pics. Let me try a different way of showing off some of these pictures. But I was just so happy. All right, it's not going to let me do it that way, but we've got some great pictures and stuff courtesy of our cell phones, and we were also able to see some folks that we haven't got to see. Doing podcasting and working in media, you get accustomed to not getting to see a lot of the bands and the stuff that you want to see. And this was freaking awesome, being able to cover a festival and see all of the bands and such. And if I can get this window shaped down to size so I can show you all some of the pictures that we got. Um, this is the first music festival that I've ever attended as a deaf and hard of hearing person. As many of you know, I lost my hearing back in September. In December, I received a cochlear implant, and I'm getting back in the game, and I'm not going to let it slow me down. I'm not going to let it stop me. So this was also a wonderful opportunity for me to go get out in front of in a festival and experience it in a different way. And one of the most impactful features of Welcome to Rockville was they have an area for the deaf and the hard of hearing. And it's an ASL area where we have interpreters that, upon request and previous, to the festival, they can take, what the demands are and the requests and provide interpreter services for select bands. Now, fortunately, there was enough demand that we had a good list of acts that supported interpreters, and it was just life-changing, absolutely, because when you lose your hearing, you start to wonder about how you're going to experience music and how all that's going to continue. And by having that area that put us up closer and up against the stage where we could feel the vibrations, we didn't have to worry about crowd surfers or all of the craziness in the crowd coming down and raining down upon us and knocking our head, our equipment. And we could actually focus on what's going on, and we can see the folks signing to us and watch their performance. But we were also close enough inside of the crowd so we could see what's going on. And it looks like I lost my camera for a second. Not sure why, but we'll fix that. But as I was saying, it really was. It was just something absolutely special. And not to stall on that, but my camera went out. So let me see if I can pull up some of these photos for you all. I wasn't quite as prepared this episode as I wanted to be. Already, there we go. So, yeah. And I wanted, our weekend started off at Rockville. And there is myself in that area I was referring to. And it was just absolutely amazing to get there. And I forgot what it's like to actually see what the artist was saying, but that's part of what makes a show, folks. And Jelly Roll, let's not forget how absolutely amazing Jelly Roll was. And the crowd, 215,000 people. Good Lord, that was just an insane number. Drowning Pool has to be one of the most energetic performances of the weekend, in that the crowd just absolutely went nuts. And it was just raining crowd surfers for a while. And there, of course, is New Year's Day, who put on an amazing performance. There's myself with Mary and Angel. Angel was all ready and decked out for ICP, which was amazing. And the cool thing is, let me tell you, the Daytona drivers, no offense to anyone in Florida, but Daytona drivers are they're another breed in themselves. And if you are down in Florida, holler at our friends, Limo Race Shuttle. They got us from A to B faster than any other service, and it was an interesting experience. But you even get to roll out to the red carpet, which Angel took full advantage of, and there she is, ready as we were getting waiting on ICP later on in that evening. We also had some great, let me find some fun stuff. We ran into a couple of bands. Uh, they were so fun along the rail, and let's not forget, I got to see my hero, literally the man Dave Grohl, that made my weekend. I That was the closest I've ever been to the guy, and um, his just I loved the performance. I was so happy to see the Foo Fighters, and the mosh pits were also insane. And man, I saw this one almost every single mosh pit that formed. I would see this sign. I mean, she was just a walking mosh pit everywhere she went. For those of you who follow KMOD here in the Tulsa area, I bumped into a voice that you all may recognize, Mel Taylor, who does the afternoon broadcasts at KMOD, just happened to be at the festival as well. Let's see if we got some of the other great shots. I do wanted to I share with somebody one of the most awesome uh, shots. Check that out. That's my that's our uh, interpreter. And when the wind was going, these ladies were just full blown into it. They're a performance in themselves. Power Man 5000, of course. See if I can get a good shot. There we go. But yeah, I'm gonna have more of these images from our trip to Daytona. They'll be dropping up on the social media accounts in the next couple of days. It really did take that long for us to get all unpacked and start going through our content. And we're just now getting through some of the stuff that we captured and caught up. Today was actually a very, very busy day as I was working contacts between not only Rockville, but Rocklahoma and born and raised as well. And that brings us to our next show, because now that I've got all our ducks in a row, I can focus on our upcoming show. I'm talking about ROK the River. It's coming up next month, and I am so honored to be hosting the festival here at the Illinois River at Sparrowhawk Camp, June 13th through the 16th, I believe. Let me get my flyer here. Yes, June 13th through the 16th at Sparrowhawk Camp here in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, featuring Rehab. Flaw was the opening artist at the pre-party at Welcome to Rockville. So not a month after they're playing on at Daytona International Speedway, they're going to be right here in Tahlequah, Oklahoma on the Illinois River. So come and get you all a taste of Rockville right here in Tahlequah. Also on that lineup is going to be Scotty Austin of I'm drawing a blank there. Let's not forget Texas Hippie Coalition. Man, guys, those folks bring in their own family as well, and I'm not talking. I'm talking about music family. I mean, they're going to be rolling in hard and heavy, and I absolutely love the THC family. There's such a close knit musical community in itself. City of the Week, The Lonely Ones, The Other LA, and a lot more. Now, we're going to be giving away some things during our ROK the River coverage. And you know what? As I said, I'm hosting. I'm going to be there. You all are going to come and join me. You're going to be practically in my backyard. I think I need to share the wealth, and we're going to give away some Rocklahoma 2024 tickets at ROK the River. I'll tell you how you can win later on. Not in this show, but you just got to make sure you follow Surviving Rocklahoma. We're going to come up with some cool contests or something and figure out how to qualify for some Rocklahoma 2024 tickets that we'll be giving away at the conclusion of ROK the River. Once again, that's going to be at Sparrowhawk Camp. And you know what? I've been flapping my gums for a while. I'm starting to get a little tongue-tied. I think it's time for me to refresh my beverage. And while I'm doing that, let's break open one of the bands that's going to be on the lineup for ROK the River. This is Shelter in Place with Fade.
I'm fading. Shadow of the night, I stand alone. A dying flame once brightly shone, but now I see this time on my hands fade away like footprints in the sand. Echoes of my voice seem to fade. Lost in the depths of a forgotten serenade. Through the smoke and haze, I'll find my path, seeking signs of life through all the aftermath. With each defeat, I reclaim my might. A lesson learned, another true insight. Echoes of my voice seem to fade. Lost in the depths of a forgotten serenade. Fading away. I can't tell what's right. I'm losing my mind. I'm fading away. Lost all track of sight. Still losing my mind. I'm fading. I'm fading away. I can't tell what's right. I'm losing my mind. I'm fading away. Lost all track of sight. Still losing my mind. I'm fading. I'm fading. Think I'm losing my mind, I'm running out of time. Think I'm losing my mind, I'm running out of time. Think I'm losing my mind, I'm running out of time. Think I'm losing my mind.
Once again, that was Shelter in Place with Fade. You can catch them at ROK the River December 13th through the 16th. And for those of you who went to ROK the River last year, you are in for a treat because I have been told, I have been shown some incredible advancements that they've been doing over there at Sparrowhawk Camp, and John and crew is so happy and ecstatic to show you all what has been in the works for over a year, ever since the last one was such a raging success, and they're just going bigger, badder, and better. So I can't wait to see what we're going to be seeing at ROK the River 2024. That was shelter in place, and once again, I'm going to be hosting it, y'all. So come down and hang out with me. You guys join me for an hour every week. So you know what? That weekend, you get me for several days, for hours on end. You poor souls, don't worry. You can bring your own alcohol, and it'll be 10 times more entertaining. But with that being said, that's our next festival before, we cover Labor Day weekend. Rocklahoma and Pryor, Oklahoma, the festival that we know and love, the festival that spawned this podcast out of those campgrounds. And we are going to be there. We're going to be working media, and I'm already started reaching out to bands on the lineup. We're going to start linking up and getting some interviews. And I am just so freaking excited about Avenged Sevenfold, Disturbed, Slipknot. Let me tell you, Disturbed and Slipknot was absolutely amazing at Rockville. Evanescence as well, A Day to Remember, Lamb of God, Hailstorm, Skillet, Mastodon, Anthrax, Clutch, Nothing More, Carrying King, Cold Chamber. Oh, so many bands, and I just can't wait until Labor Day weekend. Now, have you started your planning? Have you started getting prepared for that music festival? Because yes, it's only May, but that's less than 4 months away. So you've got to start getting your campsite all ready if you're going to be doing it all up. Because one of the cool things about Rocklahoma that I haven't seen at hardly any other festival is every campsite, everyone just loves to give themselves an identity. You know what? It's like the coolest tailgate party you've ever been to, and there's so many parties, there's so many people who like to combine their camps and be hospitable and just host a good time. Everything from Big Old Bus to Camp Mardi Gras so I'm overwhelmed with all of the camps out there. And I tell you, we got a tool that will help you keep track of all of the parties, all of the events, and all of that wonderful stuff. It's a map that we have been maintaining for the last 5 or 6 years. I can't remember whenever I first took that over. And a huge shout out to my predecessors, Brian Beck, aka the Map Maker. We'd grown that, and in the past year, we relocated the Rocklahoma campgrounds map to my website, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. Remember, folks, this is totally crowdsourced. This is something that we do as fans. It's not linked to Rocklahoma. It's not associated with Rocklahoma. It's just helps us keep a running list of where all of the fun is in the campgrounds when the festival is not open, and everybody's just in the campgrounds looking for something to do and a party. So once again, that's the Rocklahoma campgrounds map. You can find it on survivingrocklahoma.com. Now, huge shout out to Darren Pilkington, who has been helping us keep track of all of the submissions and keeping that map updated. Without him, I don't think I would have been able to do the map this year. I've just been so busy. And speaking of that map, that map wouldn't exist without the wonderful community that we've got in the campgrounds. And speaking of community, I'm going to the comments, and Christy is actually absolutely right. My mind was absolutely blown by seeing the support in the comments. Thank you all so much for those stars. Remember, those stars are digital bits of currency. That's how we monetize the live stream, because it ain't cheap being an underground pirate radio on the internet these days, and we can't monetize the show because we feature live music on our live streams. So those stars and the t-shirt sales and all of those things, that helps power the show, our travels, and all the expensive equipment it takes to bring you all as good of coverage as we possibly can. So thank you all so much for that support. I see Rob Lockhart is in the comments. It was so awesome linking up with you in Florida, Rob. Thank you so much for helping us out and all of those things. What's up, Steve? Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Steve. We're working on it. I'm trying to get closed caption for our live streams. The ROK event benefit concert is coming up, and I don't have the flyer graphic up, but be sure that you check out the ROK event benefit concert, raising funds to help facilitating getting the music that is medicine to our active service men and women personnel and our wonderful veterans who proudly serve their country. So, we were talking about Rocklahoma and the map and this amazing lineup we have. Remember, we're going to have several sets of passes to this year's festival that you guys can win over the next 3.5 months. So in addition to our Rocklahoma coverage, I have been blessed and honored to continue my coverage of Born and Raised Music Festival that takes place a couple of weeks after Rocklahoma. And now I want to say my second year of Born and Raised, I was able to sit down and visit with one of the most interesting artists that I've met that week. And trust me, when you are at a country festival, you can spot another rocker a mile away. And that was the case with a gentleman that is going to be on our Rocklahoma lineup this year, at Tim Montana. Check out this interview.
With the Locks That Rocks out of Richmond, your host of the official podcast of Rocklahoma. Although we are at a different sort of festival in the same sacred grounds, we are here at Born and Raised, and I am joined by Tim Montana.
How are you?
Thanks
for having me.
I am so happy to have you here. Welcome to Oklahoma. Welcome to Pryor.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about preparing for Born and Raised Music Festival?
Yeah, we've spent all summer preparing, did a lot of shows. We've been running like crazy, but I love the festival thing. I love the outlaw country thing that's going on here, Red Dirt, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, excited to get on the stage and show them a little Montana country rock.
Montana. So tell me a little bit about where Tim comes from. I was doing a little bit of homework. You're an eclectic a musician. It's not just the country. You got a little bit of a rock and roll streak and everything.
Yeah. So I grew up, was born in the Flathead Valley in Montana, and
All right. I'm not sure what happened right there. We're going to try to break that in there one more time. I tell you what, I was going to play the interview first, but let's go ahead and we're going to break into some music from Tim Montana while I get that interview situated. Let me see if I can fix this real quick without throwing everything off, Go figure. It would not be a live stream without some technical difficulties, right? So I think I've found the right button. So let's see if we can
I'm your host with the locks that rocks out of Richmond, your host of the official podcast of Rocklahoma. Although we are at a different sort of festival in the same sacred grounds, we are here at Born and Raised, and I am joined by Tim Montana.
How are you?
Going,
Thanks
man?
for having me.
I am so happy to have you here. Welcome to Oklahoma. Welcome to Pryor.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about preparing for Born and Raised Music Festival?
Yeah, we've spent all summer preparing, did a lot of shows. We've been running like crazy, but I love the festival thing. I love the outlaw country thing that's going on here, red dirt, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, excited to get on the stage and show them a little Montana country rock.
Montana. So tell me a little bit about where Tim comes from. I was doing a little bit of homework. You're an eclectic a musician. It's not just the country. You got a little bit of a rock and roll streak and everything.
Yeah. So I grew up, I was born in the Flathead Valley in Montana, and 3 generations Butte, Montana, Southwest. But I didn't have electricity till I went to college. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, lanterns, candles. A lot of Nirvana by lantern light when I was coming up. I was the weird kid that wore Carhartts and a Nirvana shirt every day, and very influenced by Seattle and Alice in Chains and what was going on up there, and then a little mix of Chris Ledoux and what was happening in Wyoming, and this little mashup of country rock, if you will. So
at what point did you just get bit by the musical bug and decide that you wanted to start playing and pursuing this?
Probably about 6 years old. When I lost, because I had power at first. We lived at in a pawn shop, gun shop in northwest Montana, northern Montana, and as soon as the TV went away, I got a little nylon string guitar and just would literally learn to play guitar by lantern light and listen to these ZZ Top songs and Nirvana songs and just learn them in my bedroom because there was nothing else to do. It was just frigid Montana winters, a guitar, and lots of hard work, and
Right.
So it was kind of a necessity for me, an outlet. I didn't really have a life outside of going to school. I had to come home and work on the ranch and stuff like that. So the guitar was my only friend for a lot of lonely years. So,
and you mentioned ZZ Top. They were here last year.
Yeah.
Amazing show. And I'm so happy that they're still touring, even though they lost. And I also, you mentioned Nirvana. Now, I was talking, what's this about Foo Fighters? My man.
Yeah, I met Dave Grohl at Memphis in May, a barbecue fest I represent as an ambassador for Traeger Grills, and I was going down there to play the tent, and I'd heard rumor that Dave Grohl was there. And I told my drummer, I said, dude, he's going to come see us play. He's going to love us. We're going to become friends. We're going to tour with the Foo Fighters. And my drummer had been with me a long time at that point. And he goes, Tim, you say the most bizarre stuff, and then I watch it happen. So I'm just going to assume it's going to happen the way you've dreamt about this. And sure as shit, I'm sitting there playing acoustic. My drummer, Brian's on a cajon, and I just look up and I see Chucks, dirty black pants, ball cap, and a cigarette. And I'm like, I know exactly who that guy is. And I went up and was just like, Dave Grohl. And he's like, what's up, bro? Just the nicest guy ever. And he kept asking, he's like, what is this drum? And I'm like, it's a cajon. You sit on it and play. And he goes, I said to him, I said, do you want to play a song with me? And he goes, yeah, what do you want to play? And I said, Smells Like Teen Spirit. And he said, F you. I don't know if we can cuss on this or not.
Yeah.
But
no, absolutely.
Yeah, he said, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, House of the Rising Sun, which was a song My Mom by the Animals. My mom made me learn when I was like a very young kid.
Right.
And so he goes, yeah, House of the Rising Sun. And I led with Nirvana. I shot for the stars. He shot it down. And we sat there and played House of the Rising Sun. And all of a sudden this massive crowd gathered when they realized Dave was playing the drum. And he got up, looked at his hands, and then I'd been dreaming of this my whole life. He said, let's walk the river. I want to hear your story. And I told him about growing up poor in a trailer house. And I said, you couldn't see the wall in the trailer. It was just you and Kurt Cobain covered every inch of those walls. And I'm like, to get to meet you and this and that. And then he watched me wrestle the Yeti guy for a while. And then about 3 a.m, I get a text from him. He goes, man, there's not a lot of rebels left in this business. You're stuck with me now, brother. He's like, welcome to the family. And then we haven't got to open for him yet, but he's flown me and my wife out to shows on the Foo Fighters jet. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And he's just the nicest guy. So
Wow. So now that we know that Tim's got his rock creds, he's got that close personal story that I want. Tell me a little bit about finding your way into a country genre.
Yeah, so I went to L.A. first. That was weird because I had never had a microwave at that point. I moved right off Hollywood Boulevard behind the Chinese Grauman Theater there. And so I went to music school there, and I just wanted to run from my country raising so hard. So I got a skateboard, and I got a yellow Squire with flames on it, and I started a rock band, and every time I play, everyone's like, dude, you're country as hell. Listen to you. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I was growing my hair out. I'm like, I am not a country artist. I am as hardcore as it gets. And they're like, dude, that skateboard can't hide those Montana roots. I almost died several times on that skateboard. But finally I ended up meeting a guitar player named Johnny Highland, and he's legally blind, one of the great virtuosos of music, man. This guy can play like you have never heard, and he did it clean. He did it with no distortion. I'd never seen anything like it in my life, and my older brother is legally blind as well. So I had a connection there, and he said, hey, man, come on down to Nashville. I'd love to take you under my wing and give you guitar lessons. So right then I dropped out of music school, packed all my shit, and moved to Nashville to chase Johnny Highland because I'd never seen anyone play guitar like that. Now, I haven't even got close to touching his talent. I'm like, yeah, that's some shit you're born with. Like, there's no way to, and I thoroughly believe that people that are born without a certain ability, like vision, they gain, that sense somewhere else in his ear for music. And, that's why, like, blind musicians are so fantastic, because they don't see with their eyes. They kind of see with their ears, if you will. And, but yeah, so he took me to Nashville and just, man, did it the hard way. Went, made a $1,000 album with Johnny Highland, then went back to Montana. And again, I kind of manifested my destiny because I was like, hey, I heard Dave Letterman lives in the area. And what if he shows up, and what if he loves me, and what if he has me on the Late Show? And I swear to God, that is exactly how that happened. He showed up in Shoto, Montana. I had no idea what I was doing, had like 3 shows, and I made a poster that said like Tim Montana coming home tour. And it was the only 3 shows I had that year in a beat up van. And Dave came out and changed my life, brought me on the Late Show with David Letterman. I got to go to the Ed Sullivan Theater. And then I came back to Nashville, and me and my wife were broke and had a baby, and I'm buying steaks. I'm like, this is the moment. Phone's going to ring. Here we go. Superstardom. Phone didn't ring, folks. The phone didn't ring. But I'm too dumb to quit, so we kept doing it, making independent records. And I think I made 4, maybe 5 independent albums. And then BMG Records, Broken Bow, came to the table and signed me to my first major label contract. It only took 15 years and a lot of ramen noodles, but yeah.
I live on ramen. I don't smoke. It's my 2-pack a day habit.
Nice. Oh, yeah. A little sriracha on there.
I have not tried that.
Oh, dude. You got to put some hot sauce on it.
Now, I'm going to derail a little bit because you've touched a spot for me. So I know you've spoken about having growing up with folks with vision issues.
Yeah.
Do you have vision issues?
I don't know.
Okay. It's just ironic because I'm actually going deaf. I'm all but hearing impaired. So
yeah, my mom's an interpreter for the deaf. So I grew up around so many deaf kids. I can fingerspell like a beast. And people always are like, you know how to sign? I'm like, well, I can fingerspell really fast. But she'd always bring the deaf kids up to the woods, and I'd hang out with them and show them how to fish and stuff like that. So I was,
Well, as we deaf people say, wow, that is awesome, man. And I love that message, too, that, no matter whatever you're dealing with, you just keep forging ahead and just make lemons out of lemonade. Or we're country boys, so we're going to make some margaritas out of lemons. But tell me a little bit about what's going on for you like right now. So I know we got Born and Raised right now. What happens after Born and Raised?
We're going to do a fall tour with a Texas artist named Creed Fisher. We're doing a co-headline thing. So we just announced those dates. Going to Zest Fest in Dallas. Billy Gibbons and I have a hot sauce, salsa, barbecue sauce company called Whisker Bomb. You can go to whiskerbomb.com and check that out.
Nice.
He's become one of my best friends on earth. Again, one of my heroes I grew up listening to is, was at my house yesterday in Nashville, chasing the kids around. Pinch myself every now and again, but we're doing really good with this Whisker Bomb. It's at HEB. It's at Pop Shelf Dollar General. It's going into Harris Teeter's. We're starting to get big grocery. I'm big into cooking, barbecue, music. So we're pushing Whisker Bomb right now. There might be some ZZ Top dates coming up this fall. I don't know. So yeah.
Man, and you got that Dollar General, so you're like in everyone's backyard now.
Well, it's Pop Shelf. It's a new Dollar General owns it, but they're quickly expanding. So yeah, it's coming. So
nice, man. Yeah. So I like to always finish up my interviews in letting my guest have an opportunity to address their audience. Now, you haven't played yet today, so
I have not.
You still have a performance to go in that sweltering heat and sun that we call Oklahoma weather. So, Tim, this opportunity is yours.
Guys, Tim Montana. We're going to rock tonight, 4 to 4:40, and we're going to full send, man. I think we got, we're outlaw country, but we're as much rock and roll, grunge country. People can't really paint us in a corner, but I think you're going to have a unique experience, and I'm going to bring you under the big sky. So
you got it, big sky. Now, where can everybody link up with Tim Montana?
Yeah, you can find me at Tim Montana on Instagram, Facebook, timmontana.com. You can check out my OnlyFans for the dirty pictures. I'm just kidding. I don't have an OnlyFans.
Hey, $20 is $20.
Yeah,
I can't
exactly.
judge. We got bills to pay. I got kids to feed.
4 kids to feed.
No judgment, man.
Yeah.
No judgment at all. Tim, thank you so much for giving me your time. And once again, everybody, I'm your host with the Locks That Rocks, Adam Richmond, and this is Surviving Rocklahoma, your official podcast of Rocklahoma.
And that was my interview with Tim Montana. That was from 2 years ago at Born and Raised Music Festival. This year, my man's going to come to Pryor, Oklahoma, Labor Day weekend for Rocklahoma, and he is just going to rock your faces off. And I am so blessed to have the total permission and authentication to feature his newest single. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tim Montana with Die Today.
I'm a drifter on this land, just another grain of sand in the kingdom of the damned. I am just a man, fighting fire with my hands, pulling lions off a land. And I forgot to die today, and I came here to find the rage. Shadows can fill my empty grave.
And that was Die Today by Tim Montana. And thank you so much, Tim, for allowing us to feature music right here on the broadcast. And that was a shortened version, and this is how we get around, the copyright flags and all of those other things. Even though we have permission, we still have to kind of dodge the algorithms and such. So for the full length single, make sure you check out Tim Montana anywhere that you get your music. You can catch him this Labor Day weekend at Rocklahoma. Studio audience, give us some love. There we go. That's right, folks. Tim Montana, I was so glad to sit down with him a couple of years ago. I'm so excited to catch up with him and see what has changed over the last couple of years. Now, speaking of Born and Raised Country Music Festival, great things happen for us over there. And, I'm so excited to not only cover it this year, seeing that I had to pull out from the festival last year when the audio went out in the ears. Now that I've got my bionics and my cybernetics, they rebuilt me stronger, faster, smarter, and with a better ear for music. Well, we are going to be back. We're going to come back to Born and Raised, and we're born to raise hell, right? We're also going to have a country stream coming up in addition to Surviving Rocklahoma. We're going to feature some red dirt artists, and there's more, because I've been approved for 10 Born and Raised Country Music Festival passes that we are going to be giving away to our audience. Now, I haven't figured out how exactly we are going to give away those 5 pairs of Born and Raised Country Music Festival tickets, but we're sure as hell gonna figure it out, right? So we got a lot of stuff to cover. We got a country episode to come up with, and we got some great country live music events coming up as well. So stay tuned to Surviving Rocklahoma, and we will have opportunities to win not only Rocklahoma passes, but Born and Raised passes as well. Thank you so much to DWP and Rocklahoma and Born and Raised and everybody who came together and made this possible. We are so glad to bring you coverage of these local festivals and what all is going on in the area. So we will be at Born and Raised Music Festival. We will be providing media. We're going to get some more interviews. I don't have the graphic for my lineup. We will definitely have it. Once again, folks, if you've got, a little bit of country roots, a little twang in your soul, Cody Johnson, Hank Williams Jr., Coey Wetzel, Dwight Yoakam, Midland, the Red Strays, Shane Smith, and the Saints are some of your headliners. And let's not forget Cody Canada and the Departed. I'm just skimming through. Jamie Lynn Wilson is going to be there. Now, you guys have got to check out Jamie Lynn Wilson if you are a fan of country and red dirt. This woman does some amazing things at this festival, especially in terms of getting the artists together for cross collaborations. You never know who's going to pop up on the stage, whether it be a main stage or the side stages. And in the campgrounds, there is so much music that emerges from those campgrounds, it's a whole other world from your Rocklahoma experience. Rocklahoma, we go out to party, man. We go out, get crazy, and all of these other things. But at Born and Raised, it's just something special, and it's magical and peaceful, and it's just night and day, apples and oranges. And I love that festival, and I can't wait to be back. And as some of my good friends in the Born and Raised campgrounds say, fuck around and find out. With that being said, folks, we have been talking at length about all of the things we've got coming up, and we've kind of gone over our normal time slot, which is totally fine. I'm not ashamed. But I want to dabble in to our ROK box because, folks, we love to feature local music, and we love to give you a taste of the music communities that we experience in our travels. And while we were down in Florida, we met a couple of bands, and I'm always telling bands, if you want your music featured here on the podcast, it's easy. Just shoot me an email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. And that's what this band from Florida did. And I am so excited to give you all a taste of some Florida locals. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gloomchild with Death Dream. Once again, that was Gloomchild, hailing from Florida. One of the bands we met while we were down there at Welcome to Rockville. And ladies and gentlemen, we like to wrap up just about every live stream by taking a moment to say thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in to these shows, joining us in the comments, and joining me for a nice drink. I just topped mine off and made it a little strong because you know what? It's getting late. It's about time for that sleepy juice. Cheers. Now, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and all of that good stuff. Remember, bands, if you would like to have your music featured here on the live stream or an upcoming broadcast, just shoot us an email. Submit your music, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. You can also head on over to the Facebook page. I've got a cool form that we're working on and experimenting on, and this will be a great way for you to submit your music as well as submit your gigs. But until then, when in doubt, just email it out to survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. We'd love to let everybody know where to go to catch you and a performance so the local music community can show up and support your art and your craft. Now, we would also remember, folks, it doesn't matter how you're consuming the content. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe. Those numbers do matter. And we're trying to bump those numbers up. The higher the numbers, the more shows that we can cover. So thank you all so much for supporting us. Now, also want to give a huge thank you to all of you all who submitted or sent those stars. I mean, good Lord, look at the number of those. It looks like we've got a new game that you all have unofficially started. And looks like Scott Bear won Star Wars for the night. Thank you all so much. That's insane. I appreciate you all so much. We are going to have to start doing something awesome with that. Man, holy crap. Look at all of those. I can't even see who all the top. Y'all broke it. Y'all broke the star widget thing that keeps track of who all sent the stars. You've overloaded it. Thank you so much for sending those, folks. I'm humbled. With that being said, folks, I want to give a shout out once again to the other folks that help pay the bills. I'm talking about our sponsors, DEB Concerts, as well as At Your Service Rentals, and Rockavet, and the Rocklahoma Bitches, as well as the Big Ol' Bus. All of you folks have gone above and beyond to provide support and help facilitate this production, and we owe so much to you all because this podcast is very much the stream that a village built, and it just spawned from the greatest community that I've ever seen, and that's the Rocklahoma music community, northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Missouri, and that multi-state area. There's just something happens here. So many talented musicians, people who are not afraid to go up and just put it all out there. And that is something that we love to support here on the live stream. So on behalf of Prior Liquors, Wines, and Spirits, thank you all for just being the most amazing community ever. Cheers, folks. Remember, if you'd like to work with the show, shoot us an email, survivingrocklahoma@gmail.com. And that does it for the broadcast tonight. Now, I've been on the fence for the last week, what I wanted to, how I wanted to end this tonight's show. There's things that could be acknowledged, things that shouldn't be acknowledged. And the fact of the matter is, The haters only have as much power as you give them. And the thing about manifestation is if you speak it into existence, well, there it is. So never ever let anyone take away your accomplishments or give the time of day to anybody that isn't going to support you. Either you can join in on the ride or you can kick rocks, and never ever let anyone diminish your dreams just because they were afraid to go for theirs. Remember, folks, stay on the positive side of life, and until next time, rock on.